Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture series of pattern classification. I am Kundan Kumar, and if you would like to have the lecture slides, you may refer to my GitHub page at this given link. In the last few lectures, we were discussing the dimensionality reduction problem, where we had discussed principal component analysis and linear discriminant analysis for feature reduction. However, in this lecture, we will be discussing feature selection, which is also used for dimensionality reduction in pattern classification. While both the methods are used for reducing the dimensionality of feature vectors, but there is an important difference between these two. Feature selection is simply the selecting or eliminating given set of features without changing them. However, the dimensionality reduction transforms the features from higher dimensional feature space to lower dimensional feature space. So, feature reduction problem uses a linear or non-linear combination of features. However, feature selection is an alternative to feature reduction that reduce the dimensionality by selecting subsets of existing features. The benefits of performing feature selection is quite similar to feature reduction, like it avoids curse of dimensionality. That means the situation that arise when analyzing data in higher dimensional spaces more than 100 or 1000 features. So, it avoid the curse of dimensionality. It also reduce the computational cost of modeling a classifier. It also improves the accuracy of the classifier, and the feature selection helps to improve the generalization of modeling by avoiding the overfitting. For any feature selection approach, first criteria function is to be defined, that is function of classification error, and it can be noted down that the use of classification error in the criteria function make the feature selection procedures dependent on the specific classifier used. Now, let us try to understand this concept. Let us consider we have n number of d-dimensional feature vector as shown here. Each row is a feature vector of d dimension. Okay, and each column is feature component. So, here we have d number of components, and the last column is basically the class level. Let us consider that to select the feature component, each feature component is passed through a classifier A. So, suppose we have a classifier A, and each individual features are passed through this classifier A, and we obtain the accuracy of 96% for using this feature component and 70% accuracy using this feature component. Then probably criteria function will give the priority to the first feature component because it has the higher accuracy compared to the other feature component. Now, let us consider that all the feature components are passed to the classifier B, and we obtain the accuracy as 80% for the first feature component and 89% accuracy for the second feature component. Then it is obvious that criteria function will give the priority to the second feature component because it has the higher accuracy compared to the first feature component. So, we can conclude that the use of classification error in the criteria function makes feature selection procedure dependent on the specific classifier used. Okay. There are many feature selection approaches in the pattern classification. The most straightforward approach is to select m number of feature components from d number of components. So, here this is basically dm is equivalent to c dm, which is okay, and the selected subset must perform the best according to the criteria function compared to other subsets. The number of subsets grows combinatorially, making the exhaustive search impractical. So, as the number of combination will increase, then the problem will be impractical. In pattern classification, there are two main types of feature selection algorithms. One is the wrapper feature selection method and filter feature selection methods. So, wrapper feature selection methods creates many models with different subsets of feature inputs and select those features that result in best performing model according to a classification. So, these approaches are computationally expensive. On the other hand, filter feature selection methods use statistical techniques to evaluate the relationship between each input feature and the target variables, and those scores are used as the basis to choose those input variables that will be used in the model. So, it is common to use correlation type statistical measures between input and output variables as the basis for filter feature selection. Now, in this figure, iris data representation is used to understand the individual features. As we know that iris data set has 154 dimensional feature vectors belongs to 3 different class. Okay. In this figure, histogram of individual class data samples are plotted for individual feature components. Like in iris data set, we have 3 class, that is, one is for setosa, another is versicolor and virginica. So, you can see here we have the 3 colors for 3 different class and their distribution is calculated using the individual class samples. Okay. So, here we can see that this is the basically the distribution of individual class. If we will try to analyze something like this, so these feature components are overlapped, but when you will see the petal length and petal width, here the setosa is totally separated from the other 2 class samples, and here we have some overlap feature components. Visually, we can say that feature components petal length and petal width are good feature components compared to other 2 components, because these 2 feature shows better separability for different class. In previous plot, each individual feature component is analyzed. However, in this plot, a pair of feature components are analyzed. In iris data set, there are 4 feature components. So, the number of combination for pair of feature components, so it will be 6. So, this is the scatter plot of first feature component and second feature component. This is the scatter plot of first feature component and third feature component. This is the first feature component and fourth feature component. So, similarly, we have this is for second feature component and third feature component. Okay. So, here we have total 6 combinations. So, now if you look at these 6 scatter plots of different combination of feature components, then it shows that this combination, this combination, this combination, this combination. So, these 5 combinations shows a good separation in feature space. From this also we can observe that the combination of feature 1 and 3 is good, combination of feature 1 and 4 is good, combination of feature 2 and 3 is good, combination of second feature component and fourth feature component is good, combination of third feature component and fourth feature component is good for the feature separability. Okay. So, in the same manner we can analyze the 3-dimensional feature space for the combination of 3 features among the 4 features components. In feature selection, the two methods are widely used and well acceptable. One is sequential forward selection and another is sequential backward selection. Here this is sequential forward selection algorithm and we will try to understand using this given plot. Okay. So, here we have given a set of feature components and we will try to find the best set of feature components that will give us a better classification accuracy. So, let us discuss the sequential forward selection algorithm. So, here first step is to find the best single feature. Okay. So, we have to find the best single feature. So, in this plot here our first feature component is aerial gabber 1. Okay. And using that feature we obtain 57% accuracy. Okay. In the next step, pair of features are formed using one of the remaining features and the best features that we obtained in the first step, and the best pair is selected. Okay. So, in this plot, see, this is the second best feature component, and if we combine this feature with the first best feature, that means this is the best pair is selected. So, we obtain the accuracy around 65%. So, see, our accuracy is improved when we are choosing the best pair of selected features from this set of feature components. Similarly, in the next step, the triplets of features are formed using one of the remaining features and these two best features that we obtain in the step 2. So, the best triplet is selected. In this plot, just see here what is the accuracy. So, now classification accuracy is improved to 68%. So, this procedure continues until all or predefined number of features are selected. So, after performing the same step for each features, we obtain this graph. Okay. And we will select the number of feature components for which the classification accuracy is maximum. Okay. So, we have to choose this number of feature components for our classification model. So, this approach is called sequential forward selection. Here we are adding feature components in each iteration and we are going forward by adding best feature components. That is why the approach is called sequential forward selection. Now, let us discuss sequential backward selection. As name suggests that we need to move sequentially from backward. So, here first we compute the criteria function for all D features. So, these are a set of feature components and from here we have to select a set of feature components that will give us the best classification accuracy. So, for this feature components, first we will compute the criteria function. Okay. In the next step, each feature is deleted one at a time. So, here we have set of feature vectors. So, we will delete one by one. Okay. That means, we will have the subsets of d minus 1 features, and then we will compute the criteria function for each subset, and we will select that subset which will give us the best classification accuracy, or that will give the best criteria function. So, that means we will discard the worst feature from these sets. Then the next step, each feature among the remaining d minus 1 is deleted one at a time. So, whatever the d minus 1 feature components will remain, we will make the another subsets of d minus 2 feature components. So, we will have a number of subsets of d minus 2 feature components. We will find the criteria function for individual subset, and we will select that subset which having the best criteria function or best classification accuracy. Then we will select that subset which having the best classification accuracy. So, in that process we will discard the worst feature component to form a subset of d minus 2 feature component. So, this procedure continue until one feature or predefined number of feature components are left. So, sequentially we will discard feature components one by one. Then, so this plot we will obtain, and we can see here this is the maximum accuracy that we obtained if we select these number of feature components for our classification model. So, this was sequential backward selection algorithm. Here I would like to give some concluding remarks for feature reduction and selection in very brief. So, the choice between feature reduction and feature selection depends on the application domain and the specific training data, and feature selection leads to saving in computational cost, and selected feature retain their original physical interpretation, because we are selecting a subset of features from a set of features. And feature reduction with transformation may provide a better discriminative ability, but these new features may not have clear physical meaning, because we are transforming our feature from one domain to another domain. Maybe the physical meaning of our feature vector may not retain in the transform domain. Here we finish the dimensionality reduction chapter. So, this is the assignment problem. Try to solve this problem, and if you face any problem you can ask in the comment section. Thank you.